Okay, so imagine this. You're shrinking down, like smaller and smaller, until you're inside a tadpole's tail.
Hmm.
Yeah, not exactly a dream vacation, I know, but stick with me. The science here, it's wild. You know how that tail just disappears when a tadpole turns into a frog?
Right.
Well, we're going to witness the whole demolition job, but like at the molecular level.
Oh, it is amazing. It really is. See, that tail, it's mainly made of this protein, collagen, and that stuff, it provides unbelievable strength, like structural strength.
Oh,
Think of it like the steel beams that hold up a skyscraper. That's how tough we're talking.
okay. So collagen is like the backbone of the tadpole's tail.
Pretty much.
And that means it's got to be a big deal in our bodies too, right?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Collagen, I mean, it's everywhere in us. Tendons, ligaments, your skin even. It's the scaffolding holding us all together. It gives us shape, makes us resilient.
But wait, hold on. If collagen's so super tough, how does that tadpole's tail just vanish? Like steel beams don't just crumble on their own, right?
You're right, they don't. That's where the enzymes step in. They're like, I guess you could say specialized demolition experts, but for molecules.
Okay.
They can speed up these chemical reactions by, I don't know, a mind-blowing amount, sometimes 1 trillion times faster.
Wait, 1 trillion?
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay, so in our tadpole tail scenario here, who's the enzyme superstar in charge of this?
In this case, it'd be an enzyme called collagenase.
Collagenase.
And it's specifically designed for this, breaking down collagen, making the remodeling of tissues possible during metamorphosis.
So it's like collagenase is the foreman on the site,
Yeah.
directing the crew to, take apart all that collagen scaffolding.
Exactly.
But how does it actually work? Does it just like slam into those collagen molecules?
No, it's more precise. To really understand how these enzymes operate, we got to look at something called transition state theory.
Transition state theory. Okay, let's go. Sounds complex, but I'm ready for it.
All right. Well, picture this, a mountain range, right?
Yeah.
And it's separating 2 valleys. To get from one valley to the other, you got to climb over those mountains.
Makes sense. Climbing takes energy.
Exactly right. So think of it this way. In a chemical reaction, the reactants, they're like one of those valleys. And the products, they're the other valley,
Right.
that mountain range in between. Well, that represents the energy barrier. It's what needs to be overcome for the reaction to actually happen. Now catalysts, including our enzyme friends, they come in and essentially they build a tunnel through the mountain.
Oh.
So instead of this huge climb, the molecules can just zip through that tunnel.
Yeah.
That's a really smart way to save energy.
That's a great way to put it. And that's how these catalysts, these enzymes, that's how they work. They don't change where you start or where you end up, but they give you a lower energy path. Makes the whole reaction go much, much faster. Okay, so back in our tadpole tail, the collagenase is busy making these tunnels through these energy mountains, and that's how the collagen can break down easier.
You got it.
Man, this stuff is fascinating.
Oh, it is. But when we zoom in really close on enzymes like collagenase, even that tunnel idea, it doesn't quite explain the whole picture. Something even more interesting is happening.
Okay, hold on, wait. So you're telling me there's even more to this than just building those energy tunnels?
There is the sheer speed and efficiency of these enzymes. It's astounding, even when we factor in that lower energy barrier. It's got scientists wondering if there's something else at play here, something beyond our classical understanding of chemistry.
You're talking about quantum mechanics, aren't you?
I am.
That world of tiny particles in physics that just bends your mind?
Precisely. You see, at their core, enzymes aren't just manipulating molecules. They're manipulating individual atoms and electrons. And those are the very things governed by the laws of quantum mechanics.
Okay, so our demolition crew, they're not just swinging sledgehammers. They've got like some seriously advanced tech, maybe even quantum tech.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hooked. Let's unpack this quantum angle a bit more, shall we?
Let's. It's a journey into a world where the classical rules of physics, well, they don't always apply. We'll explore how this might be what gives enzymes their remarkable abilities.
Okay, quantum mechanics. It's a bit like we've fallen down the rabbit hole, right?
Right.
Into Alice's Wonderland.
Yeah, I like that. One of the big differences, like fundamentally, is how quantum mechanics sees electrons.
Okay.
And classically, we picture them, orbiting an atom, like planets around the sun.
Right.
But in the quantum world, it's more of a cloud of possibilities, not a set path.
So instead of a teeny tiny solar system, it's like this fuzzy electron cloud.
Right.
Yeah?
Kinda.
But how did that even connect to enzymes? What's the link?
Well, that fuzziness or superposition is the fancy term. What it means is an electron can be in multiple states at the same time.
Whoa.
Think back to that energy mountain we were talking about.
Yeah?
Classically, the electron would need enough energy to climb over it, right?
Right.
But quantum, it can sort of be on both sides at the same time.
Well, hold on. You mean it can tunnel through? Like straight through the mountain?
Exactly, quantum tunneling. And this could be one of the big secrets to how enzymes are so amazingly fast. They might be setting things up so that tunneling is more likely, electrons taking shortcuts through those energy barriers.
Whoa, so not just like lowering the mountain, but making quantum shortcuts.
Yeah, you got it.
That's some next level demolition work.
Yeah.
But how does that actually, play out in real life, like with our collagenase breaking down that collagen?
It's still being researched a lot, very active area, but there are some pretty compelling theories. Remember the zinc atom?
In the active site.
Yeah, that zinc, it might be creating this tiny little quantum environment.
Mm-hmm.
And in that environment, the electrons that are involved in breaking those peptide bonds, they can tunnel. And that speeds up the whole reaction massively.
So the zinc is like the quantum portal for those electrons.
You could say that.
Mind blown. Seriously. But is there any actual proof for this? It sounds so theoretical.
Well, it's definitely at the edge of what we know, cutting edge science. But the evidence, it is starting to pile up.
Oh, okay.
Researchers are using, incredibly sophisticated techniques to study how enzymes work at the atomic level. And some of what they're finding, it's hard to explain without bringing quantum stuff into it.
Can you give an example? What kind of findings are making scientists go, huh, that's weird?
One really interesting area is long-range electron transfer. Some enzymes can move electrons across distances that classically shouldn't be possible.
Oh.
It's like these electrons are hopping across the molecule. And the best way we can explain that, quantum tunneling.
So they're not taking the scenic route. They're just teleporting
Okay.
across the enzyme.
Exactly.
That's crazy. But hold on. If quantum mechanics is so delicate, so easily messed up by noise, by interference,
Where?
how can it even survive inside a cell? That's not a quiet, controlled lab, right?
You're right, it's not. And that's a great question, something scientists are really wrestling with. Seems like enzymes have evolved these incredible ways to protect those quantum effects. Like they might use certain vibrations or very specific arrangements of those amino acids, all to shield that quantum magic from the noise of being inside a cell.
So they built like quantum bunkers within the cell.
Yeah. It's amazing, isn't it?
It really is. But isn't this all a little, I don't know, speculative? How do we really, the nano-W enzymes are using quantum mechanics, not just really, really good chemistry?
You're right to ask that. It's a very important point. To directly observe these quantum things in biological systems, incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
It's like trying to take a picture of a hummingbird's wings mid-flight.
Oh, wow.
You know it's happening, but getting the proof, that's a whole other story.
So it's a race then to develop the right tools, the right techniques.
Yeah.
What are scientists working on in that area?
One promising thing is using ultra-fast lasers to probe how enzymes behave, but on crazy short timescales.
Yeah.
Like these lasers are like super high-speed cameras. They can actually catch glimpses of those quantum events happening.
Wow.
Another approach is using, well, we call them quantum probes, basically tiny quantum sensors.
Huh.
They can pick up on subtle changes in the enzyme's environment, changes that might be a sign of quantum processes going on.
So we're starting to peek behind the curtain.
Of this,
Quantum world, inside enzymes.
we are.
But what's even crazier to think about is, if this is true for enzymes, could it be true for, I don't know, other biomolecules? Or even whole cells? Are we just seeing like the tip of the iceberg here?
That's the exciting part. If enzymes, these, fundamental parts of life, if they're using quantum mechanics, it opens up so many possibilities. Could DNA, the blueprint of life itself, be using quantum effects too? Maybe for storing information or transferring it.
Yeah.
What about photosynthesis, how plants use sunlight for energy? Could that rely on quantum coherence?
Wow.
We're just starting to ask these questions,
Yeah.
and the answers, they could totally change how we understand biology.
It's wild to think that the universe, with all its quantum weirdness, that might be woven into into life itself. But let's go back to where we started. What does this all mean for our little tadpole losing its tail?
Well, it suggests that metamorphosis, which seems like this simple change, it might actually be a symphony of quantum events, all happening at the molecular level.
Wow.
Collagenase, our demolition expert, it might be using quantum tunneling to break down that collagen. And it does it with incredible precision at unbelievable speed. That lets the tadpole basically remodel its body super efficiently and become a frog.
So from this grand stage of evolution to this tiny little drama of a tadpole changing, quantum mechanics might be like the star of the show.
A good way to put it.
It just reminds us the universe is full of surprises. And the lines between living and non-living, between the classical world and the quantum world, those lines might be blurrier than we ever thought. So wow, we went from a tadpole losing its tail all the way to like the mind-bending world of quantum mechanics.
We did.
It's kind of amazing to think that these tiny quantum things, they could be behind such huge changes in biology.
It really does make you think about how connected everything is, doesn't it? From the smallest particles all the way to how life works, how these big processes play out. It's all intertwined.
Yeah, it's like we're realizing the universe has this whole hidden level of complexity, and we're just starting to see what it can do. But let's talk about like what this means practically. If enzymes really are using quantum mechanics, could that change how we do things like in medicine or technology?
Oh, the possibilities, they're huge. If we can figure out how enzymes create those quantum environments, we might be able to design completely new drugs that are way more targeted, way more effective. Like imagine a drug that uses quantum tunneling to deliver a molecule to the exact spot in a cell where it needs to go.
That's like molecular GPS for
Absolutely.
medicine. What about other fields like energy or making new materials?
There too, the potential is enormous. I take photosynthesis, for example. You know how plants capture energy from sunlight. It's incredibly efficient.
Right.
And some scientists think that quantum coherence might be part of how that works.
Quantum coherence.
It's this phenomenon where quantum states are kind of in sync.
Okay.
If we could copy that, I mean, we could completely revolutionize solar energy.
So we could learn from nature's quantum tricks and build better solar panels.
Exactly.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. But let's zoom out for a second. Think bigger.
Yeah.
What does this whole idea, quantum mechanics and biology, I mean, what does that tell us about life itself?
It makes us question, our old way of thinking, that life is just this complex machine.
Yeah.
It hints that life might be more than just the sum of its parts, that there's a deeper level going on, more connected, more complex.
It's like life isn't just gears and levers. It's a whole symphony of quantum events, and it's all orchestrated with unbelievable precision.
A beautiful way to put it.
And it makes you wonder about the origins of life. How did it all begin? Could quantum mechanics have been part of that? Could it be that the very spark of life is somehow a quantum thing?
Now you're getting into some deep philosophical territory.
I know, right? It's fascinating to think about that something as fundamental as quantum mechanics could be connected to the mysteries how life itself started. But here's a final thought, something for everyone listening to chew on. If enzymes are using quantum mechanics, what else is out there? What other secrets is nature hiding? Could there be a whole world of quantum biology just waiting to be discovered with implications we can't even imagine yet? It's a pretty exciting idea, and I'm sure it's going to drive science for years to come.